Okay. So this topic keeps coming up. The teacher keeps complaining about my child's behavior. What do I do? I keep seeing this topic come up. As you know, I'm on a couple of these autism groups, and this is a topic that keeps coming up. And it doesn't matter what the child's age is. I keep seeing parents, whether their child is in preschool, whether their child is elementary school age, high school, they're like, hey, the teacher keeps complaining about my child's behavior. And for the parent, this is really complicated because when your child has special needs, you're also struggling with your child's behavior. You know what I mean? And it's something because as you know, parents, whether you have a child with special needs or not, your child will act one way at home and they'll act another way at school, right? But as a parent with special needs, your concern is that the child will be kicked out of school, especially if they're younger. This has happened a couple times in a couple of these groups. Parents will have a 3-year-old or 5-year-old, and these children, these young children, will be in preschool or some kind of pre-K program, and the center, the daycare center, the preschool program, and they'll be like, yeah, your child's behavior, you know, we can't handle this child in our center. I did it. I did it. Those of you who know me, I used to be a daycare director. Whenever my kids, whenever, not my kids, my kid, whenever I had one child, whenever my son, my firstborn, when he was one, he was about 1.5, I quit my job and I opened a daycare center at home. And I had my second baby, I had my babies at home. And then I became a daycare director at a center. And I had a child there. She had special needs. She was deaf and she was on the spectrum, but she was undiagnosed. Her parents didn't even know she was deaf. She was running around banging her head on stuff, and she was pushing kids. She was pushing over bookshelves and stuff. And she was digging in the garbage can, eating stuff and throwing stuff all over the place. Like, you had to be with her 24/7. And I didn't have the staff to accommodate her needs. We were not a special needs center, so we didn't have the staff that you would need for a special needs child. And I had meeting after meeting with the parents, and I couldn't accommodate the child. So I had to let her go. So it happens, right? So that's the concern for parents who have this problem. The teacher keeps complaining about my child's behavior. Is the teacher wrong? But is the teacher wrong? Who's wrong? Who needs to fix it? Is it the parent? Is it the teacher? So let's talk about it, right? What do you do when the teacher keeps complaining about your child's behavior? So let's first answer that question. Is the teacher wrong? Yes and no. Okay? What do I mean? No, the teacher's not wrong, because the teacher needs to communicate their struggle and their concerns with your child's behavior. Too many times, the teachers will complain about your child's behavior and make it your problem. And or they won't. They'll complain behind your back, and they won't tell you at all, and it'll just be a complaint. Let me tell you what happened to me. Hassan was like, he was like in 5th grade, like 4th grade, right? This is transparency. Don't tell anybody, all right? This is between me and you. He was like in 3rd or 4th grade. And I was at an IEP meeting, right? An individualized education plan. For those of you who don't know what an IEP meeting is, twice a year we have to sit with the teachers and they tell us what our child's individualized education plan is for the year, for the semester, right? And so I'm sitting there and they're going over the pages. There's like, I don't know, 50 pages that we have to go over about, all the things that they're working on with our child for the semester. And they got to a page and they were like, we're going to try to reduce his cussing. I was like, wait, his what? They were like, yeah, we're going to try to get him to reduce his profanity. I was like, wait a minute. His profanity? What are you talking about? What do you mean? They were like, yeah, his little nasty mouth. I was like, you're talking about the wrong kid. And they're looking at me like, your kid has a little mouth. I was like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that my son is cussing people out? And they were like, yeah. I was like, wait a minute. I had to explain to the people. I said, we don't use profanity at home. We're a Christian home. And they just looked at me with blank stares like, okay, lady. I said, Hassan is picking these words up at school. Okay? And they were like, oh, okay. So the teacher's not wrong because the teacher needs to communicate that. And I'm giving you this example because this is not something that the teacher communicated to me. So I can't address anything I don't know about. Hassan would come home and not say any of these words because he knew better. He would go to school, hear it on the bus, hear it at school, use the words correctly, and then come home and not say any of them. So the teacher is not wrong because this teacher is making an attempt to communicate the information, but they're just not doing it correctly because in this case, they're complaining to the parent about what the child is doing instead of collaborating with the parent. Do you see what I'm saying? And so in that case, with Hassan using profanity at school, I was angry with the staff because I'm like, why wouldn't you talk to me about it? I'm like, how long has this been going on? And why haven't we had a conversation? And their thing was, we thought that this was what you guys did at home. We thought you didn't have a problem with it. So why would we bring it up? And I'm like, you don't know unless you bring it up. And I'm like, so now Hassan is going to get a whole entire lecture at home because just because he has special needs, clearly he knows better because he doesn't talk like that at home. Do you see what I'm saying? So my thing is, if you, the teacher, the staff, the school, don't say anything to the parent, we can't collaborate together to make sure that Hassan has an environment that's guiding him correctly in the right direction together. Does that make sense? So the solution is not to complain to the parent about the child's behavior and point fingers at who needs to correct it. The solution is to come together to figure out ways in how we can help the child to correct behavior. Hassan picked up cussing because it was something that the kids were doing. He knew it was wrong because he was like, my mom's not going to allow me to talk like that at home. He knew better, but he was getting away with it at school, clearly. So we had to come up with a plan. In fact, during the meeting, I was like, go get him right now. I was like, where's he at? He's in class? Go pull him out of class. We're going to have a conversation right now in front of the staff. I don't want to wait until we get home because he knows better than to say it at home. He needs to know that he can't say it in this building either. We're going to deal with this right now. Do you see what I'm saying? So I had to get the staff on board and I lectured him right there in the classroom, in the meeting, in front of his teachers. And I told him what he better not say, but what better not come out of his mouth. And so that collaboration will help the child behave correctly. That's how you do that. Adults need to collect. Authority figures for the child need to come together. This is for all kids, not just special needs kids. We work together as a team. The teacher can't say, well, this is me against you and you need to fix your kid. Or the parent doesn't need to say, well, you need to fix my kid. He's with you. You need to. We're not pointing fingers. We're not pointing blame. We need to come together. We're all in this together. We have a common goal, right? So, yeah, we don't want the child to be kicked out. We want to make sure we help the child. We want to work together. That's the purpose of the IEP. That's why the parent is involved. That's why all the staff comes together to find a solution for how to make the child better moving forward. Does that make sense? So I hope that helps. So do me a favor and like this video for me. Subscribe on YouTube. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.